let's see if you can join. Yeah.
Here it is.
I see him. Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh. What's that?
Don't know. Put back to.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Hi, hello.
Hi, Kishan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Make him co-host, Sky, please.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Kishan. Good evening.
Hi, Osman. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We'll start in a couple of minutes, just making sure everybody can join us here. So please be patient while we let everybody in. Sky, can you kindly? Good.
Yes,
Okay,
one
so
second.
Hi, Bademi.
The Facebook's giving me an error. Great. Let me try to do that again. But you're recording, so you can go ahead.
I can wait a minute. You want to try it again? We can wait.
Yeah, I'll try it
again. All right. We'll just one more thing, just with one little thing, and then we'll start from there. Hi, Indu. Nice to meet you. Hi, Dr. Bay. Oh, Chile is 11. We got it. Yeva came with Chile. Well done, Yeva. You want me to try from my end?
Yeah, I'll make you host. All right, you can try.
Okay, let me try here. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go live. One second, everybody. We're just preparing to go live stream. I think we're live. Okay. Great. Okay, so let me start, and we got more people here. So let me officially start the session now. It's 9:05. 5 minutes has passed. Let's start. Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ayman Tarabishy. I am the President and CEO of the International Council for Small Business. I'm also Deputy Chair of the Department of Management at the GW School of Business. This is the Humane Entrepreneurship 2021 conference online, and the title is Humane Entrepreneurship in a Dynamic World. I'd like to introduce the chair of the International Council for Small Business, Mr. Ahmed Osman, to give some introductory remarks to kick us off on this Humane Entrepreneurship conference. Mr. Osman, chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tarabishy, and I welcome you all to this very timely conference on humane entrepreneurship. I'm very glad to be with you all and with my dear colleague Ayman Tarabishy and Professor Kishan Kim in South Korea. I'd like to first of all thank ICSB's team for putting together this conference with a very good selection of experts and speakers from all around the world. And I'm also happy with the audience attending. I know we are in different time zones, but the world is just one big connected place now with all the technology we live through. Obviously, SMEs have been through a lot during this pandemic. They have been, through a lot of tensions, through a lot of stresses, through a lot of support from governments in some countries. And we've seen that governments acted in some countries very swiftly in response to the pandemic, and that SMEs and entrepreneurs have received some sort of support. However, 1 year through this pandemic, is this support still continuing? This is a question we all need to look at and answer. There have been several policies addressing SMEs and entrepreneurship and how they will recover post-pandemic. And I'd like you all to really have deep thoughts on how we can all support SMEs globally. Obviously, humane entrepreneurship, which is let's say a leading theme at ICSB, generated by Ayman, Tarabishy, and Professor Kishan Kim, and also others doing a lot of research on it. Humane entrepreneurship gives a great answer to lots of problems faced by SMEs globally, because the ideal humane entrepreneurship can be found in companies where the top management and the administration and leadership have the culture. They have cultural values of empathy, equity, and empowerment, and enabling for their employees. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome you all once again to this conference, and I hope you all really come together and learn a lot from the speakers and engage in very interesting discussions. Thank you, Dr. Tarabishy.
Thank you, Mr. Osman, Chair of the International Council for Business, for kicking off the session here. And we are delighted to have you here from Cairo, Egypt. Before we get into the keynote presentation here, and I'd like to talk about the program of the day, and then just quickly give you a brief overview of all the different sessions here. And today we will have from 9 to about 12:30, we have the online conference here. But we are celebrating this conference today because it's also June 27, and it is MSME Day at the United Nations. So we are holding this event in honor of MSME Day. And tomorrow at the United Nations, Mr. Osman, Dr. Winslow Sargent, and I and other partners from around the world, and including Argentina, will be joining us for MSME Day. We'll be sending you the link if you still haven't registered to join us there. We are delighted for this second annual Humane Entrepreneurship Conference. We have exciting and the leading edge panelists from around the world joining us here from around the world for this event. And we had such a great response for speakers. So we have decided after this opening session to split the sessions into 2 parallel sessions. And we will be putting the link in the chat box here for you to decide on what session to go to after this opening session. In the parallel session number 2, we are delighted to have leading experts from around the world joining us in their conversation. We have Professor Analia Pastran from Argentina talking about the SDG 12 and sustainable entrepreneurship. We have Dr. Jeff Hornsby talking about Humane Entrepreneurship Framework, a model for effective corporate entrepreneurship. And we have Honorable David Kirby, and he'll be talking about entrepreneurship, sustainability, the need for harmony. And I want you to watch out for that word because it's very important. Parallel session number 3, we have an excellent researcher, a leading researcher coming to us, Philip Cruz, and he'll talk about what motivates social entrepreneurs. Then we have Maria Yeseleva Pionka from Australia. Yes, she's staying late and she is with us. She's going to talk about sustainability and green global economy. Then we have our friend and colleague and host of the ICSB World Congress in Paris, Adnan Malawi, talking about disadvantaged entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship as well. And then what we call the genius in ICSB, Dr. Norris Kruger, he'll be talking about entrepreneurship as if entrepreneurs mattered. And he'll talk more about it, kind of really cutting edge thought process here. Then in parallel session 4, we have our colleagues from Chile, Yeva Zebreta, academic, and she'll talk about what's going on in Chile in this. We have another leading researcher, Indu Kurana, and she'll be talking about the influence of religion in humane entrepreneurship. Very interesting topic. And a good and dear colleague of mine at GW, Dr. Jung-Hoo Soo, will talk about humane entrepreneurship in the travel industry. So we're moving into that area. And then again, a very dear friend from Germany, and a leading researcher, Dr. Hartmut Meyer. He's going to be talking about another key word that's coming up is responsible entrepreneurship, characteristics of a new generation. I really look forward to listening to this. And then finally, parallel session number 5, we have again our chair, ICSB, Ahmed Osman, talking about humane entrepreneurship and his personal views on it. And listen to carefully because he is provocative when he talks about these things. We have Roberto Parente talking about humane entrepreneurship as a sustainable strategy. And then we have our dear friend and colleague, Shouq Zidane, with a very interesting title, Stop, Rewind, Replay. Welcome to Entrepreneurs in the Global VUCA. And she'll talk a little bit about this. And then again, at the end, as we started with Kishan Kim, we'll end it for humane entrepreneurship for employee experience. And then we'll have the closing session with a student of mine, and he's going to share his personal story about what he thought humane entrepreneurship is without him realizing it. And we have a surprise at the end from our colleagues in Egypt. So if you stay all the way to the end, there's a big surprise for you. Saying all of this, we are packed today with a lot of great sessions, just wonderful sessions here. So we're really delighted to have you. But before we get into me introducing Dr. Kishan Kim here, I just want to explain to you how important humane entrepreneurship is. And 5 years ago, when we started this journey and the topic of humane entrepreneurship, I remember the initial meetings we had and the reactions we got from individuals saying, what are you talking about? What is this humane entrepreneurship? Are you going to go adopt a cat? Are you going to adopt a dog? What are you going to a shelter? Is this something about shelter? And we were trying to explain to them, humane entrepreneurship is about human-centered entrepreneurship around the world. It deals with putting humans first before anything else. And we got very little traction on it. Today, we hear from organizations like the United Nations, OECD, the ILO, all talking about human-centered productivity, human-centered SMEs, human-centered entrepreneurship. And they're looking at ICSB to explain what we meant 5 years ago when we first raised the concept of humane entrepreneurship. With that, I want to introduce what I call the original founder of humane entrepreneurship, Dr. Kishan Kim. We were in Korea where this topic started to evolve. And I remember we were having dinner together and with another colleague of ours, Paul Spears. And then it was adopted by our dear colleagues in Italy, our early adopters, Dr. Roberto Parente, Massimiliano, Antonio, and then it expanded around the world rapidly. So Dr. Kishan Kim, and professor at Catholic University and past president of ICSB, and just a wonderful human being. He'll give his keynote talk. Kishan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. The greetings from Korea. Hello, all friends from more than 10 countries. My name is Kishan Kim. I have served as ICSB president in 2016. The whole world is still struggling with the corona. However, I hope to see you all in good health soon. Today's topic is humane entrepreneurship. How can the world be happier? In Korea, there is a saying 9988. There are 6.65 million companies in Korea. Of these, 99% of enterprise are SME, and 88% of employment is created by SME. So if the employee of SME are happy, then the Korea can be happier. Today, we would like to find the better solution with you on the topic of humane entrepreneurship. Actually, let me start with some Korean cases. So I want to share my slide here. Just a moment, please. Yeah. Can I share my slide here? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Can you see my slide here?
Yes, yes. You just need to hit the show.
Okay, just a moment.
Here we
Yes,
go. We see it.
Yeah, my presentation is about humane entrepreneurship in Korea. Here, by humane entrepreneurship, it doesn't mean to sacrifice growth and the profit, because the humane enterprise is highly profitable. So, okay, I will skip this one. So then the high load firm is so profitable like this. The firm of endowment were highly profitable and outperformed the overall market performance by 9-to-1 ratio over less than 10 years period. Okay, like this. Just a moment. Okay, yeah. So they are more profitable. The humane companies had more happy and motivated employees, happy and loyal customers, innovative and profitable suppliers, and environmentally healthy communities. Why? So then eventually performance comes from CEOs and empathy like this. Empathy, empowerment, enablement, then proactive for opportunity, risk taking, innovative, then performance like this. So performance comes from empathy is like this, from here, right? Yeah. So the humane enterprise create a high performance work system. This in turn increase the innovation performance of SMEs, increase employees participation, satisfaction, enhance. So like this, yeah. So you can refer the paper like this here. So then nowhere else is there a better example than with the forms of endowment. The forms of endowment were highly profitable and outperformed the overall market's performance like this. So like this, yeah. So then the S&P 500 over for 10 years, 122% on return on investment increase, but the form of endowment is the 1,026% for 10 years. So why? So why is it that high load firm like form of endowment humane enterprise is so profitable? So then the answer is the empathy, empowerment, enablement, envisioning. So they are core concept of humane orientation. So then let me introduce some Korean humane enterprise and their performance. So every time I visit a company, I ask the employee the same question. Why is it that your company succeeded or fails? The answer has 3 things in common. As for the reason for its success, the employee answered me the same permutation of the same 3 things. Number 1, who is the CEO? Who is the CEO? They are inspiring or not? This is really important. Number 2, motivated employee. Percent of engaged the employee. what percent of employee in your company are at work, both physically and mindfully. The third one is your superpower is to empower, empowerment, enablement. So then envisioning empathy, empowerment, enablement, they are recipe for success. This is element of humane entrepreneurial orientation. So as it turns out, there is a pattern. So I analyzed the data with AI, so AI analysis. So number one, who is the CEO? Really, really important for the company growth and the company profit. The CEO is inspiring or not. The company growth depends on who is the CEO. Number two is a motivated employee. So for example, the CEO, number two, motivated employee, number three is empowerment or enablement, three. So all three included, all three consist of the component of a humane entrepreneurship. So maybe somebody know that he is a founder of Kakao, the Mr. Kim Bum-soo. He is a founder of Baemin, the Korean Dept company. The enterprise value of Kakao is 100 billion US dollar. The enterprise value of Korean Dept Baemin is higher than 10 billion US dollar. So here is the two successful startup, actually two successful humane enterprise in Korea. So then what do these two founders have in common? Number one, they are registered donors in the giving pledge. They are, both of them are big donor. Number two is they are good, positive, considerate. They are inspiring leader to their employees. Number three, they think people should be an object of empathy, not object of trust. So then the key factor for success of SME is who is CEO. So the first element of a successful company is the CEO. For example, the 90% of, I think 90% of SME depend on the CEO. Success depends on the inspiring leaders. Is your CEO thoughtful or not? Employees under a good CEO, inspiring CEO are engaged, but employees under the overbearing CEO only seems to work hard, but they don't work hard. So CEO of a successful company was driven by purpose for better society, better world, by cause, by this philosophy. They believe in their employees. They believe that if they figure out this purpose, it will change the world. So they are mindful enterprise and entrepreneur. So then this is insight. An entrepreneur should have two eyes. Two eyes. So an eye to see the future. It's an opportunity. Entrepreneurial orientation. The other eyes to see the people. Humane orientation. So then your eye for human, eye for humane orientation. So entrepreneur as I mentioned before, entrepreneur should have two eyes, then the I for EO, I for HO. So the KFS, key factor for success, number 2 is what percentage of employee in your company are at the work, both physically and mindfully. So motivated employee. So if a CEO has a belief in a better society, not money, and talk about what he believes, the CEO will attract those who believe what he believes. It's empathy. Why is it important to attract those who believe what CEO believes? It's the key to business success. So empathy is a boss. Empathy is what really drives performance. Empathy is a boss. However, leaders lack the most important empathy skill, only 40%. So, humane entrepreneurship. Nowhere else is there a better example than with a humane entrepreneurship. Humane entrepreneur is to hire people who believe what you believe. Then employee wanted to be part of what it is, that the CEO wanted to do. So empathy and the creativity. This is highly correlated with like this. So more empathy, then more creativity in your organization. More engagement, then more higher excellence like this. So then on average, how engaged are they? How engaged? Only 13% are engaged. The 24% is actively disengaged on average in the world. But by country, very different. But worldwide, 13%, US more engaged, Korea, Indonesia, China, like this. So how increase the engaged the people? Answer is humane entrepreneurship. So key factor KFS, key factor for success. Number 3 is empowerment and the enablement. Your superpower is to empower. The purpose of organization is to enable common men to do uncommon things, according to Peter Drucker. The task of leadership is to create an alignment of strength, making weakness relevant like this. So while R&D investment is important for company, investment in employee experience management is also important. So what is humane entrepreneurship? When you think of humane orientation, what are the first things that comes to your mind? Number 1, empathy. Number 2, empowerment. Number 3, enablement. So 3 factors for successful companies. Successful company consists of the same permutation of the same 3 things. There are the empathy, empowerment, enablement, which is humane orientation. This is a simple story of humane entrepreneurship. Conclusion and the discussion. Entrepreneurship is the key to the growth of SMEs, especially humane entrepreneurship. The 60% of corporate growth depends on the CEO. Who is the CEO? Number 2, corporate growth is determined by the level of employee participation, which is the level of the engaged employee. So the level of employee participation is determined by who the CEO is. Then growth of the company largely depends on the CEO. After all, entrepreneurship is the most important factor in growth. So the humane entrepreneurship is more important in current situation. So something particularly important. Here I found something particularly important in the success factor of companies. So these are strategic implications of corporate objective, cooperative purpose, highlighted by Peter Drucker and Colin Mayer, former dean of Side Business School of Oxford University. What is enterprise? Enterprise is the most productive place to solve a problem on the planet. The purpose of business is not to produce profit. So Peter Drucker said, company should start with a mission. What is our mission? What is your mission? This is the start question in the Peter Drucker's 5 most important questions. The purpose of business management is to achieve its mission, and the profit is only the mean. In conclusion, what is your business? Company is a place that challenges for better world, better society. This is the purpose of company. An entrepreneur is a person who challenges for better world and better society. So then what is the difference between entrepreneur and the businessman? Entrepreneur is a person who challenges a better world, but businessman is a person who are in pursuit of profit. So therefore, entrepreneur, not businessman, must have a sense of mission. Then employees want to be part of what it is that the CEO wanted to do. Again, nowhere else are there better example than with the humane entrepreneurship. This is where success comes from. This is where the growth of a humane enterprise comes from in Korea. So now, what will you open your eyes for? Humane entrepreneurship. This is a secret to change your life in 5 years, I think. So we need to celebrate in college humane entrepreneur leaders in the world. We are proud of them. Alone, you may go fast, but together, you can go further. The happier your people are, the happier your customer are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kishan Kim. And while you were presenting, there was a lot of discussion going on in the chat here. So we have some time before the next session, which is perfect. What I'd like to do now is ask the chair of ICSB to react quickly to some of the comments you made. And then while he's giving some of his comments, I want to invite everybody to use the chat or the question section, but chat might be easier so I can follow one. Ask your question, and then I'll ask it for Kishan for a reaction. So why don't we start first with some comments from Mr. Osman, and then while you're doing that, please ask your questions in the chat so I can address them to Kishan. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tarabishy, and thank you very much, Kishan, for a very, very, comprehensive presentation. You're one of the, what can I say? You have passion about human entrepreneurship. You are the originator of the idea, along with Ayman and our colleagues, other colleagues of ICSB. But ideally, when business owners, they sometimes don't have time to stop and listen and think about how to embrace human entrepreneurship in their day-to-day operations. I myself, I run a company. What would you advise me? How can I embrace human entrepreneurship in my company and do this without really disrupting what I'm doing and disrupting our normal day-to-day operations?
Yeah. So Kishan, the question is for Mr. Osman is, how would you integrate humane entrepreneurship in existing companies?
Okay, then very simple to be humane enterprise, to be humane entrepreneur, to make money to make a company profitable. So then actually the empathy with your employee, then that's it. Because among of a lot of factors, yeah, empathy and the inspiring. So we forget the empathy and the inspiring to make money. But I don't think so. To make money, empathy, inspiring is a more valuable factor. So then the humane entrepreneurship in college, the empathy, inspiring, which is forgotten by the traditional the management theory, I think. Yeah.
Good. Kishan, we have another question here. Is about how do you hire people where they believe in what you believe? What is a good strategy? Do you have any stories about this?
Yes. So then actually CEO, depending on CEO should be good person. Yeah. So for example, I introduced two company, which is a really incredible growth company. Yeah. Kakao and the Baemin. So the many Korean young people wanted to be to work at this company, but both of them, the two founder, are very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and they wanted to make our society better. Always they are thinking we have to make our society better. They don't mention about the money, but automatically they are making more money. So for example, Kakao, very small company, 10 years ago, Kakao is the WhatsApp like this. In Korea, the enterprise value is more than 100 billion US dollar now. Why? So then the engagement rate of employee is much higher than other company. So then employee are proud of to work at this company with this CEO. So they are mentioning about their CEO, the company philosophy, which is very humane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question here. This is a good question from our colleague Jeff Alex. He goes, how does emotional intelligence or EQ, right, enter into the picture? What do you think about emotional intelligence and empathy, if you may?
Actually, the emotional empathy and the empathy is a little different. Yeah, empathy is basically understanding more. The emotional is a kind of way to feel. Yeah, feeling and the empathy. So then the many things in common, but the empathy is highly related with the people. Yeah, feeling is highly related with more things, not human. I think. Yeah. So
Okay.
then, yeah, empathy is a good communication way.
Okay. So I know this question is coming up because we have two presentations on sustainability, but let us have this conversation here. Humane entrepreneurship and sustainability, right? If you ask small businesses or SMEs, they say sustainability is too expensive, okay, to do, but we know it's not if they do it in a smart way. What is your reaction if I bring you the word humane entrepreneurship and sustainability? What would you say about these two words?
Yes, some student asked me, in order to make a company sustainable, they have to invest for green transformation, digital transformation. But I don't think so. The which is the high load company and high load firm and the low load firms. For example, low load firm is saving money to make a profit, but high load firms is spending money to make it sustainable. But eventually, high load company is more profitable than low load firm. So I don't think the spending money for sustainability and humane entrepreneurship is just the cost. Yeah. So this is a good way to make your company sustainable, your company more profitable. So
Okay.
spend more for humanity. Yeah.
Okay, so the questions are getting more difficult, I warn you. So, but let's start this. And I agree with this, and this is a very big point that ICSB has been talking about. Women entrepreneurs, okay, they have been impacted the most in COVID-19, especially dealing with work and home and so on. And most of the statistics and research shows that a lot have left the workforce here. What is your reaction? What is your comment about humane entrepreneurship and the impact that women has felt in terms of COVID-19 and in general? We know there's a lot of discrepancies there. What would you say?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, then for humane orientation, humane entrepreneurship, not only enablement, empowerment, but also equity is important. So then particularly in Korea, the utilization of woman ability is very low, relatively low. So then for humane entrepreneurship, so in order to be humane enterprise, they can recruit more women. So then they can invite more women as a CEO or leaders. Eventually, this is good for women. This is good for company. This is good for economy, good for society. What do you think? Yeah, maybe Ayman, you have a solution. You have answer. Yeah.
Well, in particular, the number one trend of ICSB this year that we said that we'll be focusing on was on womenpreneurs. And in Paris, we have a full program on womenpreneurs. So this is something that we should continue doing it. It's a big focus here, but it's not just about talking about it, but it's also creating opportunities for them. So that's the challenge that we have, but we all have to have this conversation more and more. Because if you think about the word humane entrepreneurship itself, a lot of the attributes there are more aligned with women leaders, if you think about it. And so just by the nature of it, it's more leaning towards that. And research has shown that more and more. Let me switch topics here and talk about something that is interesting here, and I saw it in a couple of chats here: artificial intelligence, AI, right? Yes. Even recently now, we are interacting more and more with artificial intelligence and less with humans. What is your reaction to companies applying AI and forgetting the human element in customer interaction and in customer service and customer experience?
Yes, then during the COVID-19, I have studied the AI for 2 years. Yeah, so then AI is a very good way to increase the employee experience and the customer experience. For example, we spend a lot of time, a lot of money, not for right customer, not for right employee, for example, then the customer need the special things for me. I myself need special things for myself. But company is supplying the common things to me. But this is not good. I don't want to buy. But thanks to AI, they are understanding more to me, who I am. AI know me better than myself. For example, I wanted to see this movie, but I don't know which movie is good for me. But the company can recommend right things. So right product, right experience. So then AI can increase humanity. So then in the marketing, we named it as a MarTech. Usually fintech, right? So MarTech with the AI can increase customer experience, and AI technology can increase human experience or employee experience.
Good. Ahmed had a reaction, so I'm going to ask Ahmed to comment on this one.
Okay, so I disagree with you, Kishan. You know, life doesn't have to be better with AI. I think we're losing a lot of our humanity, or not using our brain to the full. You know, if we go back to the definition of AI as a whole, it's basically, it says any machine that does things a brain can do. Okay, so it scares me, to be very honest. And the future is very, very scary. Future of work, the future of business, the future of life in general. The generations coming up will just, you know, everything's going to be fully automated around us, and fully, you know, you don't need to, like when you go onto YouTube, it comes up with recommendations, Netflix, etc. It might be good for a bit, but sometimes you need to use your brain and, you know, personal character in making decisions for yourself. And I'm afraid because of AI, we're going to be losing millions of jobs all around the world. So, you know, humanity is important, and I think this pandemic, you know, made us freeze and all come to a standstill and think, you know, about families, about loved ones, about parents, about everything. And I hope this AI attack gets, you know, a little bit human, if I can say.
So I think I'm going to play the peacemaker here a little bit here. I think both can coexist. And I think there's room for both to coexist, and also to both to prosper. Let me give you a small story so you can see what I mean here. And we were arranging for a flight, and we got online, and of course most of the interaction online now or on the phone was with the AI, right? Asking me questions, how can I help you with the reservation and all that stuff. And it got very complicated because the problem wasn't easily solved. So finally I kept saying agent, agent, agent. And finally I got a human on the phone. And when I got the human on the phone, the lady was talking to me, and I asked her, I said, hi, hello, and how are you? I need some help. And she goes, yes, hi, how are you? How can I help your mom? And I was surprised. I was like, it has nothing to do with my mom. But I said, my mom is doing fine. Her birthday was last week. We celebrated her birthday. I bought her a phone. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't asking about your mom. It was another caller. But we laughed. There was this human moment where it was one human to another human talking about my mom and her birthday, right? And then I explained to her my problem, which was very complicated, right? She solved the problem. She bypassed the systems. She figured out how to use the system, the AI system, to help solve complicated problem that an AI would not have solved unless there was human interaction. And on top of this, we talked about my mom and she talked about her mom. So we can coexist. It's the question I ask my students is, will AI take over the world? And most of them will say, no, it will make the world a better place for more of that. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the human element. And if we go back to the human element, I think it's humane entrepreneurship is what we're talking about here. So we have 4 more minutes. So what I'd like to do is ask Ahmed to say one more comment, and then Kishan to ask you to say your last comments, and then we'll switch to the other sessions to give people time to log in. So Ahmed, any last comments for the opening?
My last comments obviously is technology is important for us to live in a better way as a society. But sometimes if technology is going to be against humanity, we should really control where we're going. If AI or robotics or whatever we're talking about is going to take away jobs from people, we should really reach a balance where we know sometimes people make more sense, and sometimes talking to people makes more sense. As you just said, your problem got solved when you spoke to a person, to a human being. Sometimes you get onto these call centers and these automated systems, and with online banking, etc., just becomes, to me, too complicated. I'd rather do it myself because it's easier. So in a way, I think this pandemic has helped us all a lot to be more digital. Our kids did online, students at universities did. We all did work online through Zoom and all these different apps. But at the end of the day, it gave us this, moment of humanity where we connected with people around us in a more human way, if I can say. So I'll leave it to Kishan.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kishan, your last comment?
Okay, so then the everybody is talking about the high tech, but eventually technology should be good for humanity, I think. Yeah. So then if we can refer the evolution of marketing management. So in the beginning we mentioned the very much about the high tech, but now high touch with the humanity. So like this, yeah. While the technology is important, we have to consider more for humanity with the high touch philosophy, I think. I agree with you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, just to make sure we have time for the other session, and I have shared my screen for the Go Live page. So it's icsbglobal.org, Humane 2021 Live. And if you click on the link now, you get to the page, and in that page, you will see the parallel sessions that are happening. So I am showing you now parallel session number 2 and parallel session number 3. And if you can click on the link, you can go there and log in, and we'll start in about 5 minutes or less. So I want to thank Kishan for a fantastic start for the Humane Entrepreneurship Conference. I would also thank the chair, Ahmed Osman, for attending and opening up the session for us here. We still have a full day, another couple of hours of sessions here. So I look forward for the other sessions. They're exciting sessions. So I highly encourage you to pick your session and go. We'll see you there briefly. And I'll stop the session now. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.